Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on cooperation among nations. In our last session together, we continued to discuss civic responsibility. We focused on the responsibility citizens have to be attentive to international issues and problems. Citizens must keep themselves informed about what is going on in the world. We talked about the fact that we belong to a global community. There are some problems that affect the whole world. To be responsible global citizens, we have to be educated and attentive to world issues. Today, we will continue to think about our role as citizens. We will be talking specifically about how important it is to have cooperation among nations. There are many reasons why nations cooperate with each other. Nations form agreements with each other for mutual benefits. When a nation decides to agree with another nation, both will benefit from the arrangement. Students, please look at the list on the screen. Which ones do you think are the positive benefits of cooperation among nations?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back. I hope you were able to decide which ones were benefits. Actually, all of them are correct. This activity shows you that there are many kinds of benefits that nations will experience if they agree to work together. Cooperation can help countries in times of war. One nation could offer assistance to another nation. This assistance could involve troops, weapons, and diplomatic support. Once a conflict is resolved, nations can also help each other to rebuild. Nations also cooperate economically. They agree on certain trade relations. This means that each country can benefit economically by trading surplus goods. Countries can help each other in times of crisis. An example of the kind of crisis I mean is a natural disaster like an earthquake or a flood. Other nations can provide health services to a country in distress. Troops can be sent in for additional security and support. Other countries can lend money to assist a nation to rebuild after a natural disaster. This kind of support shows that people around the world care about each other. They know that they are part of a global community. They accept responsibility to support each other in difficult times. Natural resources are another important factor in international cooperation. A natural resource like the Blue Nile is not unique to Ethiopia. This river flows between boundaries. Ethiopia has a special relationship with Egypt and Sudan because of this natural resource. Ethiopia contributes over 80% of the volume of water to the Blue Nile. The river has a complex history. During the colonial period, Britain made an agreement between Egypt and Sudan. This allowed these two nations to use the Blue Nile. Unfortunately, the agreement was unfair to Ethiopia because Ethiopia was not included. Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan will all potentially benefit from this wonderful natural resource. The agreement created by Britain remains unchanged. This is unsatisfactory. It is now time for a new agreement to be established between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan for the use of the Blue Nile. If such an agreement is reached, it will be yet another example of international cooperation. Nations do not only cooperate about the use of natural resources, they also cooperate to preserve natural resources. Science has shown us that the world's ecosystem is a complex and fragile thing. Misuse of the ecosystem in one part of the world affects the entire world. Nations cooperate to save the planet's ecosystem by replanting forests and by protecting endangered wildlife. Students, how could Egypt and Sudan work with Ethiopia to protect natural resources? Take a moment to write down your answer.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back. I hope you were able to find an answer to the question. The answer is that Egypt and Sudan could agree to work with Ethiopia in water management programs and afforestation. Afforestation is the rehabilitation of land for new forest growth. These programs will have enormous benefits for all of the countries involved. Students, Take a moment to write down the benefits you think Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia would experience from water management programs and afforestation.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, teacher. Welcome back, students. This example allows us to see how Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia can benefit from international cooperation. Water management programs and afforestation can help Egypt and Sudan to have more water for their agriculture. Afforestation will protect Ethiopia's soil from further erosion. This will allow the soil to retain more water for better agricultural productivity. In this lesson, we have talked about the mutual benefits that countries experience if they work together. This is called international cooperation. It is important for nations to cooperate with each other for support, economic gain, and protection of the environment. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.